The xenobiology station on Kepler 442b hummed with quiet efficiency as Neha completed her evening rounds. Through the reinforced viewing ports, 3 moons cast an ethereal glow across the amber grasslands where the native Vorthac prowled, apex predators that had dominated this world for millions of years. With their crystalline fangs, electromagnetic sensing organs, and pack-hunting intelligence, they were evolution's perfect killing machines. Adnan looked up from his research console as Neha entered the main habitat module. The perimeter sensors picked up another pack moving through Sector 7, he said, his voice carrying the weight of 3 months spent studying these magnificent yet terrifying creatures. Same behavioral patterns, hunting in coordinated formations using subsonic calls to communicate across kilometers. Neha nodded, pulling her dark hair back as she reviewed the day's observations. The Vorthac were unlike anything in Earth's fossil record. Adult specimens stood 2 meters at the shoulder, their sleek bodies covered in scales that could shift from matte black to mirror bright, depending on their hunting needs. But it was their intelligence that truly set them apart. Tool use, complex social hierarchies, and problem-solving abilities that rivaled Earth's great apes. The cubs are developing faster than we anticipated, Neha observed, scrolling through biometric data. The 3 orphans we've been monitoring show remarkable adaptation to our presence. Those cubs had become an unexpected focus of their research. Their pack had been lost to a territorial dispute, leaving the youngsters vulnerable in a world where weakness meant death. Standard xenobiology protocols demanded non-interference, but Neha had convinced the Research Council that studying orphaned cubs could provide crucial insights into Vorthac development. A soft chiming interrupted their discussion. The habitat's AI spoke in measured tones. Motion detected in living quarters section. Unknown biological signatures approaching residential module 7. Adnan's fingers flew across his console. That's your quarters, Neha, thermal shows. 3 small heat signatures, about 40 kilograms each. The cubs, Neha breathed. She grabbed a portable scanner and headed for her module, Adnan close behind. The station's corridors seemed longer than usual as they hurried through the interconnected living spaces that served as humanity's foothold on this alien world. Neha's quarters were modest, a sleeping area, a small work desk, and personal storage compartments. But as she activated the lights, she found herself face to face with 3 juvenile Vorthac, who had somehow bypassed every security measure designed to keep the station's inhabitants separate from the world's apex predators. The cubs were beautiful in their lethal perfection. Their scales shimmered with an opalescent quality that adults had long since lost, and their eyes held an intelligence that was both ancient and curiously innocent. They had arranged themselves on her sleeping platform with the casual confidence of creatures who had never learned to fear anything. "How did they get in?" Adnan whispered, his hand moving instinctively toward the emergency beacon. "Wait," Neha said quietly. She had spent months studying these creatures, learning to read their body language, their vocalizations, their electromagnetic field fluctuations. These cubs weren't displaying hunting behaviors. Their scales showed the relaxed coloration patterns she associated with contentment, and their electromagnetic organs were cycling in the slow, regular patterns of creatures at rest. The largest cub, she had designated him Alpha in her research notes, lifted his head as she approached. His crystalline fangs, still developing but already lethal, caught the room's artificial light. For a moment, predator and human regarded each other across an evolutionary gulf spanning billions of years. Then Alpha did something unprecedented. He lowered his head in what Neha recognized as a submissive posture and emitted a soft harmonic trill, the sound young Vorthac made when seeking comfort from pack elders. They're not here to hunt, Neha realized. They're looking for safety, warmth, a pack. The second cub, smaller and bearing scars from some recent conflict, had curled against Alpha's flank. The third, a female with unusually bright scales, watched Neha with keen intelligence. All 3 were displaying behaviors Neha had only observed between related pack members: trust, vulnerability, the kind of openness that could mean death in the wild. Slowly, carefully, Neha approached her sleeping platform. The cubs tensed but didn't retreat. She sat on the edge, close enough that Alpha could have severed her spine with a casual swipe and reached for the thermal blanket folded at the foot of her bed. "What are you doing?" Adnan asked, his voice tight with concern. Something either incredibly stupid or revolutionary for interspecies relations, Neha replied. She lifted the blanket, a simple piece of human engineering designed to regulate body temperature in the station's controlled environment. The cubs watched with fascination as she spread the covering over them. For creatures evolved on a world where the temperature could drop 20 degrees after sunset, the concept of artificial warmth was entirely novel. Alpha sniffed the blanket with his enhanced olfactory sensors, processing chemical signatures that told him this was safe, this was comfort, this was something his instincts couldn't classify, but his intelligence could appreciate. Within minutes, all three cubs had settled beneath the blanket. Their electromagnetic fields synchronized in the pattern Neha associated with deep contentment. The female cub stretched one scaled limb beyond the blanket's edge, and Neha found herself gently tucking it back under the covering. The same gesture human mothers had made for countless generations. "They're sleeping," Adnan whispered in amazement. Indeed they were. Three apex predators, each capable of bringing down prey twice their size, slept peacefully under a human blanket on a human bed while two of the softest, most defenseless creatures in the galaxy watched over them. Hours passed. Neha and Adnan took shifts monitoring the cubs, recording biometric data that would revolutionize xenobiology. The cubs' stress hormones dropped to levels never recorded in wild specimens. Their brain patterns showed the deep, restorative sleep cycles crucial for development. As Kepler 442b's primary star began to rise, painting the amber grasslands in shades of gold and crimson, Alpha stirred. He looked at Neha with those ancient, intelligent eyes, and something passed between them, not understanding exactly, but recognition. The recognition that some bonds transcend evolution, that comfort and safety were universal languages spoken across the stars. The cubs departed as silently as they had arrived, slipping back into the wild where they belonged. But they left behind something profound, proof that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their adaptability, but their capacity to extend compassion across any divide, even one measured in millions of years of separate evolution. Later, when Neha submitted her report to the Xenobiology Council, she would write, "Today we learned that the universe's most effective survival strategy isn't predation or competition, but the simple act of sharing warmth with those who need it." The blanket still smelled faintly of alien worlds and ancient dreams,